So, good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Pallavi Anand, welcome you all in the 8th session of 2-day international conference on perspectives in teaching, learning and assessment during COVID-19 pandemic. So, I would like to extend my special welcome to the chairperson of this session, Professor S.K. Sharma, Major General Retired, Advisor to the chairperson. So, I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Gupta, Principal Director, Maya College. So, Professor Sharma has a long association with this institution, and we feel immense pleasure to have you here, sir, in this afternoon with us. So, without taking much time, I hand over the proceedings of this session to the chairperson, Professor Sharma. So, over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me at the back? Last minute, huh? First of all, let me congratulate all the presenters. Today we have got 10, 11 presenters here, and there are another 30-odd presenters, another halls. All congratulations, and the students also. I welcome all the students for this particular session. There are a few rules for this particular session. I thought reason being 40 presenters are there total. To give chance to everybody, it has been bifurcated. It has been taken 4 different halls. One hall is this side, and 4 other 3 are going on other 3 sides. I know when you write a paper, you write a case study, write anything. At least I require half an hour for that. I require half an hour to present my study. Only then, maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Only then I'll be able to tell. But here, seeing the time frame, the time given is just about 1 hour's time. We have to complete everything in 1 hour, and the presenters are roughly about 10 or 11. So time per presenter will be roughly about 5 minutes. So we decide like this, so that everybody gets 5 minutes to a presenter. After 5 minutes, I think there will be some indication to the presenter by Madam Palvi. She'll give some knock or something. Please close your presentation within a minute's time. We'll keep 1 hour a minute for the question answer. If somebody has some question, and especially my request to the students, this is a golden chance for all of you. If you are here, please make sure you ask a question. If you ask a question, you have learned something. The same thing once you go to the schools, after this, as a teacher, you have to tell everybody. So 1 hour minute we keep it for that, so that our lunch is at proper time. Everybody will be waiting for lunch at a very crucial time. So please make it a point to close it whenever there is a knock after 5 minutes. Okay, but if we get more time, we have the clarification. Thank you very much. First of all, I'll just keep calling also. First presentation is by research scholar Rajni Kumari, who's from the Central University of Jammu, and Dr. Ravi Ranguri, Assistant Professor, Central University of Jammu. Please welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rajni Kumari, research scholar from Central University of Jammu. The title for my research paper is An Outlook of Student Teachers Towards Online Teaching, Learning and Empirical Study. As we all know that in the modern era of education, has been revolutionized by new educational changes brought by the technology. Earlier, the online system was adopted by only those students who pursue their education through distance mode only. But due to the upsurge of COVID-19, the situation has changed, and the sudden emergence of the situation, the teaching learning has to shift from face-to-face mode to online mode of learning. As per the information provided by UNESCO, 2020, 191 countries has adopted the online teaching learning process just in order to cater the needs of the students while they are sitting at home in the pandemic. This is not changing. Different teaching learning apps, that is Google Classroom, Gmeet, we all have accessed all these apps during online teaching learning, and at the same time, due to the limitation of technological gadgets, non-availability of technological facilities, various challenges and problems are being encountered by teachers as well as learners. These are the research studies done during pandemic on online teaching learning process. The major observations that has been found in the reviews are the lack of interaction and collaboration were the more challenging areas in online teaching learning process. Students suffer from internet access, technical guidance and support, and it also affect negatively to the physical psychological state of mind of the students. Now, what is the need and significance of this study? The sudden shift over to the new paradigm become a challenge for the teacher as well as learner. Although the facilities are available to the teachers and the students, but the lack of awareness, monitoring, and at the same time guidance to the participant in online teaching and submission of assignments, activities may be the key challenges remain to the teachers as well as the students while they are learning online. But the teachers face the technological glitches that are, they have the problems related to their techno-pedagogical skills, and the students have suffered from the network accessibility and certain all things that we are learning from this 2 days conference by the different eminent speakers from one by one. Now, the different questions emerges that are, what kind of challenges has been faced by the students while learning online? Or do they find online learning as an effective mode of teaching or not? Or are they willing to pursue online education in their further future learning also? Now, my research questions were, what perspectives do the student teacher possesses during online learning? What challenges has been faced by the student teachers during online teaching learning process? And as such, the objectives are to know the perspective of student teachers towards online teaching learning and to ascertain the challenges faced by the student teachers during online teaching learning. Now, the delimitation of my study was the student teachers pursuing 4-year integrated BA B.Ed program in Central University of Jammu. My study was delimited to those students only. Research method is descriptive survey method, and the population and sample of the study is again the BA B.Ed students pursuing 4-year BA B.Ed integrated program in Central University of Jammu, that is recently introduced in Central University of Jammu in the session 2019. Now, the data was interpreted and analyzed by using frequency percentage to accomplish the objective of the study, and I have prepared semi-structured, self-constructed research tool. 5 minutes over. So 5 minutes. Now, the findings of the study have indicated that majority of the student teachers were found to dislike the online teaching because most of them stated that time spent on electronic gadget was the reason for stress among the student teachers. It was also found that majority of the student teachers lost their interest if there would be no question asked by the teacher from the learner while teaching through online mode. The study also revealed that majority, that is 81% of the student teachers believed that physical health of the learner deteriorated while sitting passively in front of screen for a long time. Without wasting much time, I come to the recommendations. According to the findings, as per the findings of the study, in the near future, the university should adopt the hybrid mode of learning, considering the benefits and challenges of online teaching learning. These were the references. Thank you, sir.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No questions. ऐसा करेंगे presenter को I request whenever you present because time is very short. Probably she would have to explain very many things. आज गई है काफी. So better is कि अपना explain what is the topic that must be explained in a minute or so. आपकी final recommendations क्या निकली है? That's all. कैसे आपने किया है? What are the method you have adopted? We leave it to that. Otherwise आपका ये cover होगा नहीं. हाँ, अगर ये cover होता है ठीक है. Otherwise straightway finally come to your recommendation, final part. Okay, only then you will be able to tell us. और दूसरा किसी ने भी क्वेश्चन पूछा है तो better I request please write the question. क्वेश्चन लिख के and it should be quickly asked. और अगर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछेगा खासकर स्टूडेंट तो इसका मतलब या तो स्टूडेंट सो रहा है तो या तो स्टूडेंट को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है या स्टूडेंट विल रिमेन लाइक दिस एज ए टीचर आल्सो. आप बहुत खराब टीचर होंगे अगर आप कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछोगे. तो प्लीज मेक इट अ पॉइंट. Every student must ask. Otherwise, I will nominate somebody to ask. Okay. अगला question आप पीछे. क्या नाम है आपका? Yes, raise the hand. I hope I am not LLDT. Looking London, talking Tokyo. Yes, you are raising half a hand. Huh? It's like this. Yes. Next question, you will ask first question. बाकी फिर अपना question पूछेंगे. Okay. Okay. Next is Dr. Balia has come. Okay. Madam Swati Mahajan. From Dogra College. Selection will be. Okay. Madam Ronika. Thank you.
Slide change. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'll not take much time as directed by the chairperson of this session. So my study is students' perception of online assessment during COVID-19 pandemic, a case study actually it is. So basically, I just want to know the perceptions of students as far as Google Classroom is concerned, because there are a number of learning management systems, but in our college, we adapted Google Classroom in order to take the assessments of the students. And it has been observed, this is the major objective of my study, to understand students' perception and the use of Google Classroom and to investigate the potential for using student feedback in the validation of assessment through Google Classroom. Rajan, it's not moving. Better you change the slide, otherwise maybe it's leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it. Next, next. So there were some research questions actually before knowing about the perceptions of the students. It was very much required that to know the competence with the computers, because unless and until you are competent enough to deal with the ICT skills, so it's not possible to measure your assessment. And next, Rajan. And also the second research question was to know the prior experiences if any participant is having with the online assessment. And ultimately, the major question is to know about the perceptions about online assessment through Google Classroom. I'll just skip the findings and I'll just go to the next. Yes, next. Yeah. So after taking a question, after taking a paper-based questionnaire, a group interview was also conducted with the participants, and the result of the interview also revealed that some students viewed the exam style as inconvenient because the open book questions were purely application based and quiz questions were also selected randomly from the units. Even few students also reported that due to network connectivity issue, it was very difficult to upload the answer scripts in the Google Classroom with the stipulated time, and it leads to so much stress among the students. And majority of students indicated that they were very much satisfied despite of all challenges. They were very much satisfied with the online assessment because of the reasons it is fair, faster than paper and pencil test, and it gives timely and immediate feedback. And the findings of my study, the recommendations and suggestions are: yes, there is a dire need to arrange training programs for users to make them fully aware about ICTs. Adequate training should be given to both teachers and students on how to operate Google Classroom, and to provide training on handling Google tools or any learning management system if a college or institution is adapting. And yes, government should, or the institution or the university should take some initiative that they should distribute gadgets to the users who are in great need of them and didn't afford them due to some financial reasons. And government should provide good network connectivity provisions, particularly to the remote areas of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And arrangements should be made to review the internet speed problems on regular basis and enhance the bandwidth. This is a very pertinent recommendation, that as we all know that there are a number of companies, telecommunication companies, who are here and they are coming up with the smart plans. But yes, national, just a moment. National as well as multinational companies should come up with special data plan packages, particularly for the students, so that it could be easily afforded by the students community. So I conclude that can we withdrawn away from online teaching, learning and assessment anymore? We think that answer is no. The educationally advanced countries had embraced these techniques earlier, so they faced less difficulty in imparting education online in COVID-19 pandemic as compared to us, where we have lack of resources, infrastructure, training and acceptability that hindered us from the education for a long time. It's time to move in the right direction by adapting technology, enhanced learning and assessment for our educational system to meet the global standards. Thank you so much.
Any questions? But for there has to be one question. ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, you have to ask a question.
पूछ लो जल्दी से to save time.
You have to ask question. कौन सी क्लास है आपकी? हाँ जी?
BA.
कौन से?
4th semester.
अभी तो आप टीचर बनोगे?
बोलो बच्चे क्वेश्चन.
डर लगता है ना? हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट सामने है तो शायद क्वेश्चन पूछने में थोड़ा सा I think we'll excuse this. Okay, we excuse you for the question. Okay, हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट सामने है थोड़ा सा.
B.Ed special के students भी हैं. If you have any question, they to ask so many questions. Yes.
Yes, very nice, excellent.
Frankly speaking, initially when we thought of going or conducting assessment through online mode, we find it very challenging, but yes, we enjoyed it. We witnessed that our sleeps were totally disturbed. This was the major challenge, because when we have final examination, particularly the quiz or the answer scripts which were supposed to upload by the students in a stipulated time, it was not uploaded. We are continuously calling our students, kindly upload. And then what we did is, because we want to see either the student completed the test or not, or making excuse that network connectivity. So we told that you click the photograph or image of your whole answer script and you just WhatsApp us, and you can't imagine that more than 80% of students, we got bulk of answer scripts on our WhatsApp. So and our mobile was like about to blast, but these were all the issues with the internet connectivity. But this is a challenge as a teacher we faced. Thank you so much.
Thank you, very nice. Very nice presentation. मैं एक बीच में बताता भी जाता हूँ. अभी you can ask next question. Next. नहीं, because we have time shortage है ना. आप class.
You write that question last में.
हाँ, last में ना. Last में if I get time, we'll definitely ask you. Engineering, I am there in the engineering college for the last for 14 years. पहला ये रहता है कि हमारे बड़े बच्चे select होते हैं. जैसे 250 बच्चा है, 350 लेटर कंपनी से आ गया, किसी को 12.5 लाख पे, किसी को 10 लाख पे, किसी को 11 लाख. बच्चों को यही सिखाते हैं. पहला जिसने क्वेश्चन पूछा, he selected. ग्रुप डिस्कशन आपने नाम सुना है ना? मैं बहुत बड़ी जगह बैठता हूँ. आपको कुछ भी नहीं आता तब भी आपने पूछना है. कॉन्फिडेंस हम वही देखते हैं जिसने पहला क्वेश्चन पूछा 50% मार्क्स गिवन फॉर सिलेक्शन. इसलिए मैंने बोला था कि ऑन योर ओन आस्क क्वेश्चन. दिस इज अ हैबिट. एंड आपका अपनी जिसको डोगरी में झाका बोलते हैं ना, चाका खुल गया तो आपका चाका खुल गया. ओके ओके. नेक्स्ट वी इनवाइट मैडम स्वाति महाजन फ्रॉम डोगरा कॉलेज.
Good afternoon, all of you. Today I am present my paper on the topic online assessment and evaluation. As you all heard many of times about the online assessment during the session also, so I will I mainly focus on the topic which I have prepared, tools and technique of online assessment. There are various tools and techniques of online assessment. Maybe you heard, maybe you are not heard about that. Okay? First is MCQs. As you all are familiar with this format, this is employed in conventional type of assessment, but it is modified for online environment by including images and video clips. Next is image hotspot. Image hotspot type questions are good assessing visual knowledge. There is no visual cues as to where correct answer lies. There are no discrete descriptor to choose from, and a pixel is potentially correct or incorrect answer. Next is simulation. Simulation test allows checking student problem solving skills in real life scenario. As simulation tests are held in the virtual environment, students get risk-free space to perform without pressure or stress. Next, you also heard about it, online quizzes. It enables automatic assessment for large number of students, audience, and gives insight into the student's overall performance. Next is branching scenario. Branching scenario are used as an interactive learning approach. It suggests solving a challenge with several points where a learner has to make decision. Each option leads to certain consequences and gives a student immediate feedback. This method is particularly effective in the soft skill assessment. Next is online interviews. Many of you have heard about it and you will all appear in it. Okay. Trainer can incorporate a video conference within an online teaching to give learning more personal touch. During online interviews, students can demonstrate their proficiency in language, music, nursing, or other courses where mastery of specific skills is an important requirement. Next is game type activities. As you all heard about it in post session also by the sir, game type activities turn a series of tests into a game. For example, a trivia game might ask learner to answer a certain number of questions within a period of time. award point based on the number of correct answers. Now, I want to discuss about the benefits of the online assessment. It is beneficial for the students, teachers, institutes. Firstly, about the students. Students prefer e-assessment because they can more control friendly interference and test as games and simulation which resemble learning environment and recreational activities. It also fast and easy to use. It provides immediate feedback comparing with the paper test, which helps to improve learning level. It increases the student motivation to enhance their performance. Next, to teachers. The paper test consumes time from teachers to control each paper, but using online assessment will save teachers time. It helps the teacher to improve the quality of feedback for the students. It enables the teachers to track the student performance and make analysis across many assessments. Online assessment can reduce the teacher burden to assess the large number of students. Next is institution. There are a number of students, so for accurate and fast result, e-assessment is indulged in the institution. E-assessment decreases the cost of institution to assess student as time is reduced. Next, there are some drawbacks and suggestions too. Inexperienced students with computer or with online assessment process, students need training at the beginning to familiar with e-assessment. Accessibility of computer and internet. As solution for this problem, the institution should provide a lab with fully equipped equipment and internet access for the students. Some teachers unfamiliar with technology or most of them use e-assessment for first time. Therefore, teachers need to a training or to a confident for using e-assessment system. Biggest challenge is online assessment is safety from hacker and viruses. This can be overcome by investing in good licensed antivirus software and anti-hacking systems. Ensuring identity of student is also a big challenge. Since students are not face-to-face, chances of identity fraud are more. Certain steps can be taken to ensure identity of student like monitoring specific login ID, face and eyes, recognition through the computer software and proctoring through videos, etc. Extra attention should be given to plan for online assessment with respect to students having special needs like colorblind students and students having physical disabilities, etc. Debatable whether using
only a minute left.
yes sir using high end of online assessment. Final thought is that there are many online assessment tools that allow in to generate engaging tasks for online evaluation. Choose a way to assess student learning and related software to align your needs and result you want to achieve. Thank you.
Any questions, please?
There are 2-3 questions.
Yes, yes.
What are the impact of assessment tool for student learning?
It is difficult for you because you can't cheat through these. Because these जो आपने सुना जैसे simulation, this is a case study based branching scenario. In this, different options belong to you, but you can't search out exact answer if you are not a learner.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Ma'am, how do we ensure the reliability and validity of assessment tools in our class?
Reliability and validity is that जैसे आपको अगर आप यूज कर रहे हो जैसे टीचर्स के लिए असेसमेंट है ठीक है तो हमें क्या कहते हैं इसमें काफी सारी मैंने ऑप्शंस ऐड किए हैं जैसे इमेज हॉटस्पॉट इसमें आप क्या कहते हैं चीट नहीं कर सकते प्रॉपर्ली क्योंकि वहां पे हैक हो जाता है कि आपने चीट किया or and in branching scenario is also is that so it is difficult to cheat mainly student always cheat and fraud जैसे मैंने लास्ट चैलेंज में भी बोला आपको कि इसीलिए हमें क्या कहते हैं सिस्टम को चेंज में लाना चाहिए और वैलिडिटी तभी इंक्रीज होगी अगर क्या कहते हैं आपको नहीं कर पाओ तभी हमारी क्या कहते हैं वैलिडेशन वैलिड होगी तो अकॉर्डिंगली दैट we work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you.
Very nice study. I think you have gained from this and. Next, I invite research scholar Shivani Verma.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Shivali Verma, research scholar from Central University of Jammu, here to present my topic on blending cooperative learning strategies with augmented reality applications for enhancing students' learning, an innovative endeavor. So, as we all know, innovation in the field of technology has increased the use of latest technological innovation in every field, and education is also one amongst them. So today the teachers have to be innovative and creative so that they can use plenty of teaching methods in the classroom. So cooperation is a need of the hour. And to reduce the stress of the competition, it is very essential. Sorry. So with the help of cooperative learning strategies in teaching learning situation, the teacher can develop the feeling of cooperation rather than competition among the students. As we all know, mobile phones are very commonly used nowadays. So if we use those mobile phones in a classroom situation, the learning of the student will definitely increase, and it will definitely work for the better achievement of the academic achievement of the students and to attain their academic goals. So there are many learning applications available nowadays which can be used in this direction. On such area of these kinds of app is augmented reality applications. So cooperative learning is grounded on the idea that working together on a task or a problem can improve the students' learning. This idea is based on Vygotsky's social constructivism, which emphasizes social interaction as a mechanism to support cognitive development. In cooperative learning strategies, students enjoy learning in groups. So what are augmented reality applications? Augmented reality applications वो applications हैं जिनमें हम 2D pictures को 3D में देख सकते हैं. अब जैसे हमारे टेक्स्ट बुक्स हैं, उन टेक्स्ट बुक में जो पिक्चर्स होती हैं, with the help of our camera of augmented reality application, we can see that 2D images in a 3D shape, so that the images become more clear, and the teacher can, student can enjoy in learning. So ई पाठशाला जो है augmented reality application जो है वो NCERT ने लॉन्च की है. So benefits क्या है augmented reality applications की? So इसमें क्या है कि ज्यादा कोई स्पेशल इक्विपमेंट रिक्वायर्ड नहीं होती. इसमें सिर्फ एक मोबाइल फोन जो कि आजकल सबके पास है वो यूज करके बच्चे आसानी से उन इमेजेस को एक 3D फॉर्मेट में देख सकते हैं और उसको रियल लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद जो लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस है वो बेटर हो जाते हैं इससे, और इसमें मेंटल जो लोड है सीखने का वो बच्चों पे नहीं रहता है. तो इससे क्या होता है कि बच्चों की लर्निंग जो है वो इम्प्रूव होती है. So in the present study, two augmented reality applications, that is Google Translator and Google Earth, are used in the demonstrative lesson plan. And in this lesson plan, among various cooperative learning strategy, only Jigsaw as a cooperative learning strategy was used. And this lesson plan is delimited to the textbook of geography of class 10 proposed by NCERT. And chapter 3 of this book was taken as a demonstrative lesson plan. So ये demonstrative lesson plan बनाया गया है किस तरह से हम cooperative learning strategy को augmented reality application से mix करके blend करके हम classroom में use कर सकते हैं. So ये topic हमने लिया है water resources जो एक chapter है third chapter geography का 10th class का वो लिया गया है. तो इसमें learning outcomes क्या रहेंगे? A student will be able to identify the various methods of water conservation, define the terms like hydraulic structure, dams, irrigation, etc. Locate the various dams in India, explain about the various multi-purpose projects in India, and appreciate the importance of water resources to living beings. So ये key ideas रहेंगे इस lesson plan में और prior knowledge जो है वो test की जाएगी बच्चे की. तो जिक्सा कैसे हम यूज करेंगे cooperative learning strategy as a cooperative learning strategy उसमें हम augmented जो एप्लीकेशन है उसको कैसे यूज करेंगे. तो डे 1 में टीचर क्या करेगा मतलब उनको बच्चों को सबसे पहले समझाएगा कि व्हाट इज जिक्सा है क्या और कैसे हम अपने जो इस टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस में इसको यूज करने वाले हैं. तो इसके लिए 4 हेट्रोजेनियस ग्रुप बनाए जाएंगे बाय द टीचर टू और हेट्रोजेनियस ग्रुप कैसे बनाए जाएंगे जो उनकी प्रीवियस एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट है वो देख के टीचर जो है 4 ग्रुप बना सकता है ताकि हर एक ग्रुप में जो है वो हर एक लेवल के बच्चे आए एवरेज बिलो एवरेज और इंटेलिजेंट उसके बेसिस पे ग्रुप्स बनाए जाएंगे. उसके बाद जो ग्रुप फॉर्मेशन के बाद जो है टॉपिक अनाउंस होगा कि क्या टॉपिक टीचर पढ़ाना जा रहा है. ओके डे 2 मतलब होम ग्रुप जो है उसमें 4 ग्रुप्स रहेंगे और ये कॉन्सेप्ट जो है ये 4 चीजें जो है इनमें डिवाइड की जाएंगी. तो ये 4 जो है सब टॉपिक हर ग्रुप को दिए जाएंगे. ये जो ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी एक्सपीरियंसेस है कैसे करेगा बच्चा मतलब एक तो रिक्वायरमेंट है मोबाइल फोन की. ठीक है तो मोबाइल फोन के साथ साथ वो स्कैन करेगा है गूगल ट्रांसलेटर क्योंकि इंग्लिश नहीं होता कई बार इंग्लिश के कुछ वर्ड्स ऐसे होते हैं कि हम नहीं एज अ स्टूडेंट नहीं लर्न कर पाते हैं. तो उसके लिए हम स्कैन करेंगे और वो सारा जो है जो लैंग्वेज हम जिसमें हम उसको देखना चाहते हैं हम उसको ट्रांसलेट कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद है गूगल अर्थ जो है जो हम ऐप इसमें यूज की गई है. गूगल अर्थ में जैसे यहाँ पे है हीराकुड प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में बताया गया. तो इस प्रोजेक्ट को है क्या वो किस तरह से लोकेट है तो हम 3D व्यू में उसको इस ऐप के थ्रू देख सकते हैं. तो इस ऐप के थ्रू जो इसकी एक्चुअल पिक्चर है वो भी हम दिखाई जा सकते हैं. So educational implications जो है इसकी क्या रहेगी. As in the present time of education, which is the time of after pandemic, the mobile devices are mostly available with the students. They can easily use these devices to make the learning more strengthened. This paper will be helpful for the administrators and curriculum planners for developing the curriculum according to the needs and requirements of the learner by combining technology and teaching pedagogy. This will also be beneficial for the teachers. They can plan their class according to their new technological circumstances and can make their teaching a fun time activity for the learners. This will also be a boon for the learners because learning will become more realistic and enjoyable just like watching a movie. And parents also be benefited with this new innovation in technology because children can learn on their own without any stress. So constraints क्या-क्या आ सकते हैं इसमें? Since for this type of teaching devices like mobile.
I think it's okay. Recommendation that finally comes. These are constraints. Any main thing, final recommendation? This is a final. Okay.
So it can be concluded that the augmented reality application can be proved as an effective when these applications are blended with cooperative learning strategies in educational setting. This technology will soon become prevalent not only in education but in society in general. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Shwali.
Thank you, sir.
Very latest topic, I think, the cooperative learning with augmented reality because too much of work is going on with AR, VR, augmented and virtual reality. One of those things. Next is research scholar Upasana Sharma, Anita Sharma. Okay. Your name, please. Okay. Thank you. Please make sure your final recommendation is not missed out. So in between you can mix out.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all present over here. On behalf of my team, I am presenting our research paper. My topic, my research study is perception of teacher trainees towards online assessment during COVID-19 pandemic. All of you know that all of a sudden globally the COVID-19 emerges and all the sectors are adversely affected. Like education sector, it hard the most. From elementary to higher education, we have seen that seen a lot of changes have overnight. We have to do a lot of changes. Like for example, when the education system is purely offline, we have to shift all the education system to online system. Teaching as well as assessment, we all have to done. All the activities are done through online medium. Students को हमने पूरा proper guidance provide की गई how to conduct the activities, how they can use the mobile different apps. That introduction. Significance. Due to the pandemic, we all know that the teaching sector education teacher trainings था उनको भी बहुत ज़्यादा हिट हुआ. ऐसा नहीं था कि जो education system था वही जाके हिट हुआ. Teacher trainings के भी बहुत ज़्यादा problems आई. All of sudden, all your activities that your teaching practice, which is the heart of the teacher institution, teacher training institution, it hurt the most because now the teacher trainees have to give their TPs online. They have to create artificial classrooms. They have to project like they are studying in actual classrooms, which is not possible because all of a sudden there are a lot of network issues because we all know that after 2019, after the abrogation of Article 370, there is an internet shutdown in our state, and when the COVID-19 situation prevails, there is only a 2G services, and we have to shift all of a sudden, and students are not able to connect. All of सभी students करते थे problem कि ma'am voice is not audible, ma'am network connect नहीं हो रहा, ma'am I am facing the problem, ma'am मेरा network नहीं आ रहा, बार-बार disconnect हो रहा है. But teacher trainees can't use these words, and they can say okay, now we can give their TPs and give their vivas because there are a lot of skills you have to learn in your teacher training program. Micro teaching, macro teaching, all you need to be learned. But this should be create a teacher for the teachers how to tackle all these problems and inculcate all these skills in you. This is the significance of our study because we have, as along with my team, we have focuses on the three aspects: that to assess the perceptions of the teachers training, second, to find out the problems, and third, to give the suggestions how to improve online assessment. Objectives of the study: to assess the perceptions, to find out the problems faced by the teacher trainees in the online assessment process due to the COVID-19, and suggestions to incorporate certain aspects of online. Delimitation, because my study is applicable only in Kathua district, we have taken only 5 colleges of education from the Kathua districts. And the study was consisted of 100 teacher trainees, which are the studying in private colleges in Kathua district only. Methodology: sampling, simple random and purposive sampling has been done, and the tool is there. The survey method was used to collect the collection of the data. A questionnaire was prepared in Google format and shared through WhatsApp to the participants and asked them to please give their opinion regarding what they feel. Actually, what they were asked, they have to give their responses according to them. And then in the last, we are asking their suggestions. So we have framed the questionnaire in such a manner so that students can give their assessment, give their perceptions, give their they can share their problems, and in the last, they can share their suggestions to improve the online assessment. And like our study reveals that 70% students feel that the online assessment is comfortable. because in the first scenario they face the problems, but now they are used to it. They know how to upload the things. They know how to use the whiteboard in the teaching practice. They know how to indulge the students in the simulations. So now they are more comfortable towards in online assessment. Next, that students, 60% students feel that it is online assessment is helpful than the offline. 77.80% students feel that it is time saving, because it is my personal experience now when I'm asking my students in their sessional work, they have to go to the visit. Now they are asking, ma'am, please organize it virtually. It is very time saving. बहुत धूप है, क्यों आएंगे मैम, क्यों ना organize करें virtually. This is the way. Now students are enjoying the virtual क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि ये these are the time savings. अब क्यों घर से उठ के आना है इतनी दूर. Now teacher will arrange the virtual visits for them. They can easily join them. Maybe sometimes they join or not. Who knows? They will simply ask questions. Okay, sir. Sir, problems, because the problems are to find out the problems. Network issue. This is the main issue. In my study, I have found that the students are complaining about network issue. That they have the Viva boss. They have to change their places. In most of the times when we have conducting the teaching practice online or Viva boss, we have to message. Please change your location. Please change your location. Your voice is not audible. You are not audible. So this is the problem students are actually facing. And 51.90%, that is the DUI. Due to the network issues that prevail in this time, students are not agree on the online examination. They show their disinterest towards the online examination, because क्या होता था कि उनका रात को नंबर, क्योंकि उनका नेटवर्क में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आएगी. नाउ बिकॉज वी आर टाइम बाउंड, हम उन्हें बोलेंगे अच्छा हम आपका बाद में लेंगे, लाइक द नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट विल कम एंड योर चांस विल बी नेक्स्ट टाइम. तो अब क्या हुआ, अगर उनका गूगल मीट नहीं चल रहा है, समटाइम उनका आपका नेटवर्क का पैकेज उनका ओवर हो गया, तो वी आर आस्किंग अरेंजिंग, तो वो अब डिसएग्रीमेंट शो कर रहे हैं. दिस इज द मेन हाईलाइट ऑफ द स्टडी कि स्टूडेंट्स नाउ आर शोइंग दैट कि ऑफलाइन इज बेटर देन द ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन, क्योंकि नेटवर्क में इशू आएगा तो उनका लेट हो जाएगा, रात को 10 बज जाएंगे या उनका नेटवर्क रिचार्ज नहीं होगा. In some of the cases, my colleagues are also witnesses that when we are conducting their vivas, it is up to 10 p.m. and I am asking that.
Last time.
Yes, sir. Sir, findings. Okay. Sir, the suggestions are this: we have to shift now hybrid mode. As latest Honorable Prime Minister in reviewing the national.
That's all. Hybrid mode. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Sorry, we have to cut a short reason being because of the time. Any questions? Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Neeraj from MIT Department from my College of Education. My question is, ma'am, if you were a teacher in COVID pandemic situation, and what were the main challenges you faced during while you were teaching remotely during the outbreaks of COVID-19 in spring 2020?
I think not me, but all the faculty members are facing the same problems, because students को firstly पहले तो उनको motivate करना बहुत मुश्किल था, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन के बारे में उनको information नहीं थी. अगर हम उनको Zoom के लिए बोल रहे थे, WhatsApp के लिए बोल रहे थे, we have to train them. We are actually giving them the training classes. You have to join like this, you have to present like this. First thing this. Next, now the अगर suppose किसी स्टूडेंट का नेटवर्क का कोई इशू रहा, तो अगर उसने मिस कर दिया and we have shared the notes or something, अब उसके पास लिबर्टी है कि वो रात को 10 बजे भी आपको मैसेज करेगा, मैम आई एम नॉट एबल टू गेट दिस, प्लीज आप मुझे वापस से करोगे. या फिर वो नेक्स्ट डे अपनी क्लास में बोलता था कि मैम ड्यू टू सम नेटवर्क इशू आई एम नॉट एबल टू लिसन योर क्लास प्रॉपर्ली, विल यू प्लीज एक्सप्लेन दिस थिंग. दिस इज रिपीटेडली, दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम, दिस इज होल. आप उस पे पूरे कोर्स में आपको बोला, क्योंकि आज एक का नेटवर्क नहीं है, कल किसी और का नेटवर्क नहीं है, ड्यू टू समटाइम्स दे लेफ्ट द मीटिंग and we are continuing the classes and they have to ask, ma'am please आप repeat कर दो. their schedule, online teaching में सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम यह है कि आपका कोई शेड्यूल नहीं है. ऑफलाइन में 9 to 3 is the college time, but I think in the online teachers are available 24/7. there is no way आप उनके लिए बोलोगे कि teachers are not free, है ना. आपके लिए teachers are always available. टीचर्स की अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ भी मर्ज हो गई थी इन द प्रोफेशनल लाइफ.
Okay, thank you. My question, you are from which place?
Sir, I'm from sir. Even I am a faculty member of Rajiv Gandhi Memorial College of Education, Kathua, and I am pursuing my PhD from Dakshin Bharat, Hindi Prachar Sabha, Karnataka.
That is why there was two are from Madras.
Yes,
two
sir.
are
Me and
from-
my colleague are both.
And your guide is Deepika Jaswal.
Sir, she's a faculty member. She's a
Okay, I
colleague.
thought probably she was the guide.
She's my
I
colleague.
thought everybody is from different
No,
places.
no, sir. We are the
And
faculty.
other let's say Agar Chandra.
Agar is sir there.
Okay, you're all from Kathua.
Yes, sir. We are the faculty members and we both pursuing our PhD.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Bali is here. You are the one. Okay. Do you represent Deepika? Please.
Good afternoon, one and all. My name is Deepshikha, research scholar in the Department of Educational Studies, Central University of Jammu. I'm going to present my paper entitled Self-Regulated Learning Among Pre-Service Teacher Educators in Relation to Their Perception Towards Implications of Blended Learning in Post-COVID Era. First of all, introduction. As we all know that the sudden closure of educational institutions during the pandemic led to consistent applications of technology for providing instructions. This reliance of educational institutions on digital technology has become irreversible and become a new normal post-COVID-19. Blended learning can act as a novel method of teaching which can make education quite manageable post-COVID-19. Blended learning is the integration of face-to-face teaching with online teaching. The present time of pandemic demands self-regulated learning because students have to continue their education even while at home when there is no teacher available for them. So there is need to develop self-regulated learning in them whereby they can manage their own learning activities. They can manage their whole learning activities by their own. So there is need of developing self-regulated ability in them. So self-regulated learning is what it refers to the self-generated thoughts, feelings, and behaviors whereby students are regulated their learning on by their own so as to achieve their learning goals. These are some of the reviews which were done while conducting this study. Significance of the study. As the schools are reopening and redesigning post-COVID-19, blended learning can be seen as future of education so as to ensure the safety of students while catering to the educational needs as highlighted by Sharma in his study. Students consider blended learning as an attractive model of learning as they can learn at their own pace while teachers are also there to provide necessary guidelines, because in blended learning we have option of both face-to-face learning as well as learning online. So here the teacher can take the help of their teacher also, students can take help of their teachers also, whereby they can also learn by their own. So this study was conducted to see the perception of pre-service teacher educators towards blended learning and then to find whether there is any correlation between their perception towards blended learning and their self-regulated learning. So this study was conducted with following objectives, that is to assess the relationship between self-regulated learning and perception towards blended learning among pre-service teacher educators, to assess the perception of pre-service teacher educators towards blended learning with respect to their educational qualification, their locale and their type of family, and to assess the self-regulated learning of pre-service teacher educators with respect to their educational qualification, their locale and their type of family, and also to suggest some educational implications based on the results of study. Null hypotheses were made for all the objectives.
Population for this study comprises of pre-service teacher educators from Central University of Jammu, and 44 pre-service teacher educators were selected as samples for conducting this study. The methodology was descriptive survey research was adopted, and the tools used were for self-regulated learning. The tool was by Dr. Madhu Gupta and Dr. Dimple Mehtani, and for studying the perception towards standard learning, a self-constructed tool was made. Analysis and interpretation. This is the first table which shows the correlation between perception towards standard learning and self-regulated learning, and this came out to be 0.47, which is a positive correlation. However, this correlation is very moderate. Then this second interpretation, it shows the perception of pre-service teacher educators towards standard learning, and the difference was came out only between the MAD and BEd students, which is 2.36, and however no significant difference was found between rural urban and between the students belonging to joint family and nuclear family. Similarly, for self-regulated learning, there was no significant difference between MAD BEd, between rural urban, and between joint and nuclear family. So the result shows that there is moderate correlation between self-regulated learning and perception of pre-service teacher educators towards standard learning. There is no significant difference in the perception of pre-service teacher. There is significant difference. Second, यहाँ पे no गलत से आ गया है. Second finding is that there is a significant difference in the perception of pre-service teacher educators pursuing MAD course and BEd course, and the other results were there were no significant difference. Educational implications. The present study highlighted that there is positive correlation between perception towards blended learning and self-regulated learning. This means that the students who have high perception towards standard learning have high self-regulated learning because they know how to use technology, and this automatically develops their self-regulated learning ability. The study also highlighted that the students who are pursuing MAD have better perception towards standard learning than those students who are pursuing their BEd. This may be due to okay. So COVID-19 pandemic forced the integration of technological applications in the teaching learning process. The vision of teacher education program should be developed by directing teaching learning with the help of technology. Blended learning could be used to limit the challenges of online education because blended learning has a dual provision of online and offline learning. It has been emphasized that self-regulated learning has become important due to pandemic. Because students have to manage their learning by their own, therefore there is need to provide appropriate strategies to the students, thereby they have the opportunity to develop self-regulated learning, and blended learning can be used to provide such strategies in the form of group discussions, assignments, in the form of peer learning, collaborative learning, etc., thereby which helps them to develop their self-regulated learning. That's all.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone? I have to stand if nobody asks, so I have to say something. Anyone? किसी और को nominate कर दो भी पीछे से. Please make it a habit. I will not nominate anybody. Make it a habit to ask question that show your attentiveness. ठीक है ना? कोई भी seminar है, कोई भी presentation है, must pick up at least one item. चाहे same repetition है. आप इस पूरे 2 दिन के सेमिनार में एक भी आइटम पिकअप करके घर ले जाओगे, that is your gain. Otherwise, you are just sitting. That's all. क्लास में नहीं बैठे, इधर बैठ के चलेंगे. तो उससे अगर ग्रो करना है जिंदगी में, हर सेमिनार में प्लीज पिक अप वन आइटम. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
नेक्स्ट मैडम प्रियंका शर्मा from Dogra College.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Priyanka from Dogra Degree College. Without wasting much time, I'll let you know about my topic. My topic is recent trends in online teaching learning. Okay, so in introduction, let me tell you about the education before and after COVID-19. Before COVID-19, there was in-person conversations, class tests were there, oral lessons were there, chalk and board were using. And after COVID, we can say yesterday we connect with Dr. Michael Wilson and so many resource persons via this platform called virtually only. So we got this concept after COVID only. Then after online assessments are there, PPT based learning is there and virtual classrooms are there. Then after online learning is not a very old concept as we all know. So this is a tree. This is a tree which let us know how to how to enhance this online learning and teaching. Then after these are the icons which we all are familiar with like Google Meet, Zoom, WebEx, Cisco. Through these icons, we can connect ourselves with the other people, with the students via virtually platform. Then after, so these are some initiatives which is being taken by the government of India for the enhancement of this online teaching learning. Then after we'll talk about pros and cons of online teaching and learning. First, we will talk about the pros, benefits of online teaching. That is remote access. Yes, online we can access anywhere. Then after we can study at any time. We can have virtual interactions. Then it leads to personalized learning. Then it has self-discipline and responsibility. Then after we'll talk about the cons, limitations. Then no physical conversations. Physically, we cannot connect with anyone. Physically, we cannot meet with any person. The networking challenges are always there. Internet issues are always there. Then it requires self-direction. And no doubt it is time consuming for students as well as for teachers. Then after, how to develop sustainable educational system. Then see, this is basically a cyclic process. This is the components of education. Normally, what teachers do, we used to teach our lesson. We used to teach our chapter of any subject. Then after, on the basis of that learning only, we come to know how much our students has grasped from us, right? Then after, in the learning process, during that learning process, we can raise some kinds of questions. Some assessments will be there, like monthly tests, day basis tests, and that kind of test will help students as well as teachers, like how much our students has grasped from us, how much our students has learned from us. Then after finally assessment. So through assessment, we come to know as a teachers how much how much our concept is being understood by our students. Then after we'll talk about this teaching and learning system. So these are the methods of teaching and learning system. There are three methods. Firstly is traditional method. As we are not familiar with this traditional method, earlier before before COVID-19, we were using this method only, offline classes and all. Then after online, now it is a time to change from offline to online system of education. Then after the blended system. Blended system is nothing but it is a mix of traditional system and online system. Then after now come to the next point, that are the challenges. Being a teacher, what kind of challenges we personally feel that I have written, I'll let you know. Number one is one of the biggest challenges we teachers are facing is how to keep our students on board, and also difficult to avoid the distractions from other social networking sites during learning period. Then after during teaching material into digital format at a very short notice of time has been a challenge for many teachers. Both teachers and students are facing internet connectivity issue. Then after students from different social background, and not only every student has access to laptop or internet connection. So due to this, every student cannot attend the online classes. Then after conferencing apps like Google Meet, Google Classroom, Zoom and WebEx are the popular apps used for conducting interactive classes. Though very popular, these systems need to handle video content. They require high bandwidth for smooth flow of classes. Then after, these are some recommendations. Being a teachers, what we all need to do is we need to encourage our students' participation, students' cooperation, encourage active learning, give prompt feedback, emphasize time on task. We need to communicate high expectations and we respect diverse talents and ways of learning. Then after, suggestions. Firstly, teachers as well as students should understand online teaching practices and expectations. We should fully commit ourselves and participate in the virtual classroom as required. We should complete our learning tasks and assignments on time. Moreover, students and teachers should be self-disciplined. To stay on track with our online courses, we should identify our learning objectives and goals. The learning objectives and goals of e-learning can be an excellent roadmap during online learning. We should focus on our goals. Then after, the teacher should build a proper plan. The teacher should have a proper calendar system, some important dates like exam dates, deadlines for submitting assignments, etc. Then through online classes, the teacher should set time limits. Then after, in spite of sharing study material on WhatsApp groups, we can take these classes through Google Meet, which is more effective in teaching and learning process. Then regular classes, according to the timetable, make students very tired and frustrating. Therefore, study breaks are necessary. Then after, it is very necessary to participate in online classes. Connecting with students virtually will enhance tremendously learning experience, so that teachers as well as students should participate actively in online discussions and group activities. Then after, the teachers should motivate the students to understand the need and ease of digitalization and modern forms of teach, which is the only way to prevent the spread of this pandemic situation. Online learning can be made more engaging only with the help of online teaching strategies. Face-to-face interactions is very necessary. Even in online classes, we can interact with students only video conferencing tools like Google Meet, Zoom, etc. Then after, to conclude, online teaching and learning process is immensely helpful in situation of pandemic. Rest, every system has loopholes. The objective is not to provide a foolproof system immediately. That seems more comfortable saying that doing. The efforts must be in place to reduce the leakages to the maximum extent and has to be done on a war footing basis. We have a reactive system that needs to be changed to an active and proactive system. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I have one question from you. In COVID pandemic, we have in our college, in our institution, we used to record the lectures and upload it in our Google Classroom every day.
Okay.
And so that it can be helpful to those students who are in the rural area
Mhm.
while they were not having the connectivity in
Yeah.
the morning time or the meeting times.
Mhm.
What kind of strategies do you use for your students so that the rural area students were able to see their study material?
So this is the only way through which we can, record our lectures, so that those lectures we can share in our WhatsApp group, so that they can see those lectures on their time conveniently. Whenever they're free, they can see those lectures. So that is very important for the students who belong from remote areas, so that they can see our lectures via WhatsApp groups. We need to create YouTube videos. Have you seen? Like that kind of class we need to maintain in that case.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next. Madam Shivali. Okay.
Good afternoon to everyone. Myself Shivali Kallu, research scholar at Meyer College. Today I am going to present paper in collaboration with Dr. Bindu Dua on the topic blended mode and innovative approach to learning. In this paper, I will discuss about meaning of I will discuss about meaning, purpose, method, strategies, tools, and challenges in blended learning. The traditional Indian education system is constantly transforming. As a result, while using a blended learning method in education, New constructivist educational model can be used alongside traditional learning. Blended learning play a very important role in teaching learning process. Blended learning is an innovative concept that
I
includes.
just say one thing. If you find any repetition that somebody has already covered, you can omit that, come to your conclusion. That would be better. The few things have already
Sir,
been probably you want
tools.
me to say. If there is something different, that you will come out.
Sir, tools, blended learning tools. First one is Edmodo. Edmodo is one of the popular websites for the educators where they can share ideas and resources with their students. It is a free and safe social learning environment where educator can deliver best teaching strategies. Next tool is GoClass. GoClass is another tool used for blended learning. This tool assists educators in enhancing students' engagement and classroom management. Lesson Path. Lesson Path is formerly known as MentorMob. Lesson Path enables its users to create learning playlists to blend and flip classroom and learn at their own pace. With this platform, you can create videos, websites, blogs, and more into learning playlist. Kahoot. Kahoot is another easy to use game-based blended learning tool. It enables educators to assess learner in a visual bar graph. Meanwhile, students take control of their own learning. This game-based platform is very entertaining that encourages creativity in the students. Otis. Otis is the latest and advanced free blended learning tool designed for the iPad that lets teachers to blend learning. Teacher can manage as well as track student progress, take attendance and notes and grade students. Then conclusion. Nutshell, we can say that blended learning has its bright and dark sides. The combination of self-paced education and face-to-face training can be beneficial, but only when wisely applied. Sometimes there are risks to overbalance the rewards because not all students are ready to stand on their own feet when it's come to learning. For some of them, this modern educational environment can be motivated while the other feels confused about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think I must have to, you can just stand there. Any questions? Before you ask questions, it's very nice. You just, I think, within 4 or 5 minutes, you figured everything and told everything about a blended learning. Please.
Why blended learning is important for students?
Blended learning helps students to explore technology and use different tools and techniques in education, which improve education and quality of education.
Thank you. Shriya Baru, please. I think you must take a cue from her. Very quickly, she finished and came to a conclusion.
Good afternoon to one and all. Myself Shreya Baru, and the title of my paper is Teaching and Learning from Room to Zoom with reference to Academia Next, The Futures of Higher Education by Brian Alexander. Education is an investment in knowledge which pays the best interest, and the changing trends are the result of true learning and teaching process. Online teaching and learning process involves the virtual platforms which are challenging enough but further flourishing the process. The COVID-19 pandemic has fabricated the largest setting of education system in human history, affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners in more than 200 countries. India has the world's second largest school system after China. Shutting schools to maintain social distance during the COVID-19 crisis was the most logical solution to avoid community transmission in the initial response to COVID-19, metamorphosing the entire education system, muting the teaching learning process. With provocation and confrontation in the field of technology, Generating and providing the content through online medium, the teaching and learning took a great paradigm shift from traditional to virtual, hence making it room to Zoom. These are the various trends that could be seen in the post-COVID era. The paradigm shift from room to Zoom. We have seen that earlier we were more engaged in the classrooms, and there was a a shift from room to Zoom. We were involved in the Zoom meetings. Then we moved from traditional to technology. There were no boundaries for learning. Students can learn anywhere through various online platforms. Tech education for teachers became a priority. Teachers were not aware of the technological, sources. This became a priority as per the situation. Then leveraging auxiliary learning platform. Students, what they did, they build on interest, they enhance their creativity skills, weaving socialization into the online classroom. We took the help of these social platforms to encourage learning and teaching. Blending learning as the future of education, we have seen that how both online and offline processes were merged for blending learning. And this is the literary review by the Alexander in his book Academia Next: The Futures of Higher Education. In this book, he has reviewed about the importance of higher education in the three aspects, that is strengths, scenarios, and to the future and the present. The core message of the book was the future of the institutes of higher education is uncertain. In the context of the American higher education, the level of uncertainty is determined by these factors like educational sources and technologies, social tendencies, economic forces, and demographic structures. Then in the next, we have the various challenges faced. There are standardized tests. There is network issue, which is the most common as discussed by all. Lack of awareness. People are not aware of the online platforms. Awareness programs were conducted. And there is adaptive learning, like there was students were more interested in spoon feeding. They have to work and create their own ideas. And there was a non-serious behavior as a as my personal experience, I was like a non-serious, I had a non-serious behavior. Like I used to put on, switch on the classes and engage myself in some other works. So this kind of behavior is a great challenge, I think. And the time management, yes, of course, time management is the biggest challenge. Then the various recommendations like proper time management, social learning should be encouraged, gamification, like there should be friendly nature of learning and teaching, micro learning, mobile learning, audio visual aids, and cloud learning. I would like to conclude that one should practice smart work then hard work in order to make learning teaching process effective.
Nice. Any questions? Anyone? Okay, thank you. This is last but not the least, I think most important presentation. Will you be coming? Okay. Thank you.
Wishing a very good afternoon. Wishing a very good afternoon to all. Wishing a very good afternoon to all. I am Ashish Chaudhary, research scholar from Central University of Jammu. I'm going to present the research paper. It's a part of ICCCR sponsored research project. It's a joint research project. Our project team members were Dr. Adit Gupta, Director and Principal of Maya College of Education, Dr. Moolraj, Head of PG Department of Maya College of Education, Dr. Nisha Rana, Deputy Head of PG Department of Education. The title of my research paper is Digital Media Skills Among Different Stakeholders in Higher Education Institutions in relation to their attitude towards books. As we know, today we know there is no field of activity where technology is not being used. Today, we know there is no field of activity where technology is not being used. And the impact of technology on society is so huge, and it plays a very important role in the field of education too. So there is need to utilize modern and innovative techniques in the teaching learning process. The society of India is viewed as a digital society. People enjoy using digital media and have many of its elements integral in their daily lives. Awareness of integrating digital media and technology into today's curriculum has become a focus of many educators, and schools are interested in how to achieve this in students' learning. The purpose for using digital media in education is not just to prepare students for their careers, but also to nurture a new generation of creative thinkers who are fluent using digital media. Yes, sir. Objective of the research paper. So discussion and results are discussed at once. Our first objective is to study the overall digital media skills among different stakeholders in higher education institutions. From the mean value, we can say that different stakeholders have higher level of digital media skills. Our second objective is to study the digital media skills among different stakeholders in higher education institutions with respect to gender. And the t-value shows there is significant difference between male and female digital media skills. The digital skills of male is more than the females. Our third objective is to study the digital media skills among different stakeholders in higher education institutions. We have students, teachers, and administrators. These are the three different stakeholders. And our value shows that there is difference between the stakeholders. There is significant difference between the different stakeholders. And we have used the post-hoc test for knowing how much there is difference between the different stakeholders. From the values, we get that teachers have more digital media skills than students, and the administrators have low level of digital media skills. Then our fourth objective is to study the overall attitude of different stakeholders of higher education institutions towards MOOCs. The mean value shows that there is positive attitude towards MOOCs about different stakeholders. Our third objective is to study the attitude of different stakeholders in higher education institutions towards MOOCs with respect to gender. And there is no significant difference between male and female attitude towards MOOCs. Our sixth objective is to study the attitude of different stakeholders in higher education institutions towards MOOCs. And there is significant difference between different stakeholders' attitude towards MOOCs. Teachers have more favorable attitudes than students and administrators. First, teachers have more attitude towards MOOCs than students, then administrators, and parents have low level of attitude towards MOOCs. This may be due to the reason they have low level of digital media skills. Our last objective is to study the relationship between digital media skills and attitude towards MOOCs. And from the table shows that there is positive correlation between digital media skills and attitude towards MOOCs. It means that if a person have more digital media skills, they have more positive attitude towards MOOCs, and vice versa. Discussion and conclusion. The result shows that stakeholders have high digital media skills, gender difference. I have discussed this. I will come to the recommendation. Students have less knowledge and skills about various digital media skills. It would be desirable to increase the number of computer labs and ICT skilled teachers in the higher educational institutions, and the teachers should use various modern innovative ICT techniques in their teaching learning process. Females have low knowledge and skills about various digital media. The government should organize special programs for females for enhancing their digital media skills. The administrators should also motivate teachers and students for using various digital media in their teaching learning process. The government should introduce some online courses as an essential part of the curriculum, and especially for administrators, because administrators have a low level of technology skills. Low level of digital media skills. The government and policymakers should organize workshops, orientation programs, seminars for enhancing their knowledge and skill about the usage of digital media. The government should take essential steps for improving parents' knowledge and basic skills about digital media. Organize workshops, orientation programs, and seminars for all the stakeholders. Thank you and have a nice day.
Any questions? Anyone? Any last question? Anyone? Okay. My question is, what was the sample size of parents?
So fine.
Approximately, how many parents you have one of the stakeholder as parents?
So we have 107 parents.
107.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you very much. It was very nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Presentation by all the presenters. I think all the listeners would have definitely got something. As I always tell, please take at least one item. I have jotted down so many points for myself. Even at this age, I keep noting down and keep because there's so many things that are good, whether it's branded teaching or any. So many points are there, so you would have definitely taken up. As far as presenters are concerned, I can just advise you one part. You have already written your paper. To make it a point, this paper will be published in a booklet here. Try to enhance the level of the papers. Paper should solve some problem. Should finally come out with this is the solution. Okay. So that your paper here it will be published. But next paper, wherever you publish, let it go to some very good level, the SSCI or Scopus Index. So the level of the paper becomes very high. I think your all papers are very good. The studies have been very, very good. It is only just requires additional little bit of effort so that it goes to very, very high. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
So, thank you, Professor Sharma, for making my task easier by taking the charge of this session and conducting it in such an interesting yet intellectual way. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Adit Gupta, Director and Principal, Maya College, to present memento to Professor Sharma as a token of appreciation. Sir, please. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time. And now I would like to thank Dr. Mulraj Sharma for his presence. I would also like to thank all the participants for sharing their valuable research findings with us and in such an enthusiastic manner and making this session successful. I would also like to thank all the students for their patient listening. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Mr. Rajan Salatia for technical support. So now I request you all to proceed towards multipurpose hall, floor second.